Hello, welcome to Mag Podcast, December the 15th, 2019. This month we've got an absolutely stacked episode this week because we've had not one, not two, but three interviews all recorded at Wales Comic Con this last weekend. And then after that we're going to divulge some of the news that's been happening in the last 2 weeks. So, without further ado, let's start. Okay, we've got an absolute packed show last week, like I said in the intro. This weekend I went to go and visit Wales Comic Con in Telford. I got loads of interviews there, as like I said before. So we're going to go through some of those interviews later on. Before we do that, we're just going to give a quick shout out over to the loads of people over at Badfish Merch and the people over at Geek Erie for supporting the show. I will let them explain what they do now.
Have you ever thought that should be on a t-shirt? Well, now it can. At Badfish Studio, we create one-of-a-kind t-shirts, hoodies and more from just £15. Get a favourite slogan, awesome picture or anything in between and wear it around town. It's less commitment than a tattoo.
We can do full colour images or bold colour vinyl, including metallic, leather and carbon fibre look, glow in the dark, reflective and even rainbow or glitter for all you snazzy unicorns out there.
Because we love you, the podcast community, we want to give you 10% off your order by using the code MAG1. Oh, and if you are content creators, we have free merchandise options that will help you start making money from your labour of love.
So shoot us a message on Facebook at Badfish Merch, Instagram at Badfish Studio, or fill in the form at www.badfishmerch.com. Badfish Studio. Be unique, be Badfish.
Come check out Geek Erie podcast. While an Irish person and two English co-hosts talk about anime and the convention highlights of what's happening around us on an international basis. Sick of hearing about Gamergate? Sick about your favorite anime being called as a Nazi propaganda? Why not check out Geek Erie podcast? We have news, interviews, and convention highlights. So check us out wherever you can find a podcast, whether it's iTunes, Stitcher, or Spotify.
So I'd like to thank the people over at Badfish Merch and Geek Erie. Links, as always, to their stuff are in the description of this video, this podcast, so you guys can check them out there. If you do want to buy anything from the big Badfish Merch store, if you use the code MAG1, you get a 10% discount. It helps us, helps the show, it helps everybody. Everyone's a win-win. So yeah, we've got three interviews out of this week. What we're going to do is we're going to go through them one by one. So the first on the list is Stainless Games. They were there at Wales Comic Con promoting a game called Shock Rods. So yeah. Then we're going to go over to Sophie Yang Smith, who's a cosplayer who I got to interview there. And then we're going to go over to the people at Unknownworlds who are promoting Subnautica. So, without further ado, here's the first of three interviews. So I'm here at Wales Comic Con December 2019. I'm with a game developer, so if you could say who you are and what's the company?
Yeah, so my name's Sam Corser and I'm part of the production team at Stainless Games, and I've been working on a game called Shock Rods, which we've partnered with Asus to show on the ROG bus at Wales Comic Con.
I mean, I just want to look over it now. It's like a Rocket League and Unreal, would you say? Good.
Yeah, pretty much. So I guess you could say that Rocket League meets Quake is pretty much the gist of it, yeah.
I said that to one of your colleagues and said, no, it's Unreal. I think that's like the opposite.
Yeah, Unreal Tournament, Quake, pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. So where did the idea come from the game originally?
So funnily enough, we've got a couple of guys in the office, a lead artist and lead coder, a guy called Tom and Stacey, and between them they came up with this idea to mash those two kind of genres together, because in the office we play a lot of games like Unreal Tournament and Quake. They're big inspirations for us, and Stainless Games are known for making Carmageddon, so car combat is our bread and butter, it's what we do. So it just made sense, one day the idea just kind of clicked, hey, let's put these two together and see what we come up with.
I actually remember that from way back when. Right, I was like, exactly. That's awesome. How long did it take to make this game? Sorry.
So Shock Rods has been in development now for about 2.5 years. 5 months of that was porting the game over to Apple Arcade. So it was quite an achievement, I think, by the dev team to get this running on iPhones in the first place. But fortunately for us, Unreal is a heck of a tool. So it did everything that we needed it to do, apart from the things that it didn't, which we had to do ourselves. So yeah, about 2 years to make the game itself and make sure that we balanced it. We spent a lot of time making sure that all the maps were balanced. So if everyone spawned on the edges and ran to the middle, where would they converge? Right, that's where we put the most powerful gun, that kind of stuff, and tweaking balance numbers on the weapons.
Okay, so I've done a question. So what wanted to become a game developer in the first place then?
What made me want to become a game developer? Purely because I just love gaming. I've always been a gamer ever since I was a kid, and that's just a huge passion for me. I love it, and I couldn't imagine myself in any other industry, honestly, because once you've worked with a game developer and you kind of get used to the atmosphere and stuff like that, I'd be fired immediately in a real job with a suit and tie. Yeah, I love it. I wouldn't change it.
So we're coming towards the end of 2019 now. You're showing off Cut Rocket, Shotgun and stuff. So what's your plans for 2020 then?
So plans for 2020, so Stainless Games are an independent developer, and we're proud to be an indie developer, and so it's been a long time that Stainless has managed to maintain that title, 25 years I believe, and we do that in a couple of different ways. One, sure, we like to make our own IP, such as Carmageddon and Shock Rods, but we also work for other companies, different publishers, all that kind of stuff, so we always have contracts coming in for various things. We worked with Wizards of the Coast to make Magic the Gathering, for example, so we support ourselves with like a healthy balance of the two. So next year, one thing that we're definitely looking into is supporting Shock Rods. We want to release patches as often as we can, really, with new maps, new cars, new game modes, that kind of stuff. So Shock Rods is high up on our list of priorities. We also have a couple of projects that I'd be murdered if I told you about. I know that we're waiting on a signature on the dotted line, so there's always something in the works.
So you obviously working on this. What consoles is it coming out for at the moment, and what consoles is it coming out for soon, possibly?
Sure, so I can tell you what we intend to do and what we want to do, and we want to bring Shock Rods to consoles, Xbox, PS4, Switch, all that good stuff. The question is, will the game grow enough to warrant that? Is it worth it? Because, it's not cheap and it's difficult to do. So that's what we want to do. Whether or not we can, who knows, hopefully. So that is our plan, yeah.
Last question. So if anyone's listening to this and wants to become a game developer, what advice would you give them?
The best advice I can give anybody is to keep working hard and build a portfolio. The games industry is notoriously difficult to get into, but the games industry is massive. It makes more money every year than music and TV and movies put together. It's unbelievably huge. So it's growing all the time, and there's a constant need for talent. So the best advice I think I could give is make a portfolio. You're more likely to be hired, in my opinion, over someone with all the degrees in the world if you have a log of your work that they can look at and see. Because, a degree is great. There's nothing wrong with getting a degree, and it's a good idea. But raw talent will win every time.
Yeah, it's just a case of it's any job really. It's what you know, what you do outside of it, rather than just what you do in the school sort of environment.
A degree is great, but it's not an accurate measure, I believe, of what you are capable of.
You've done sort of projects outside of university, whatever. It's a great idea.
Sure. So university is great. Degrees are great, but just as equally as powerful as that is someone who's been at home for 5 years making their own game. It shows a lot of self-start, a lot of initiative, and a lot of talent, code, art, animation, all of it.
Well, I just want to say thank you very much for taking the time to be interviewed.
Sure, my pleasure.
It's obviously on the Shotgun. It's on the...
it's on Steam and Apple Arcade at the moment.
Actually, can I ask about that? Because the question is, I've seen the adverts for it. Is it any different from any other public platform? Apple Arcade.
So Apple Arcade is extremely new. I mean, it only launched, 6 weeks ago or 2 months ago, something like that. So it's definitely been a challenge for us. We're all learning as we go. But it's a subscription-based platform, sort of like Amazon Prime, but for video games. You pay a fixed fee every month, and that gives you unlimited access to all their games, including DLC and stuff. You don't pay extra for that because you already pay for it through your subscription. So any updates that the PC version gets, the Apple version will get for free. So it's been a challenge and it's been new and interesting, but we're glad that we're there, and it's been quite the journey.
You can say you're on the forefront now of it, and you're on the
exactly.
Right.
Yeah, it was really exciting for us, and we're grateful for the opportunity to work with Apple. Yeah.
Okay. Well, now I'm going to say thank you very much because it's been late. So thank you very much for being here.
Enjoy the rest of the show.
Yeah, enjoy the rest of your too.
Take it easy.
Okay, so I'm here at Wales Comic Con. If you could give a hello and explain who you're cosplaying as, basically.
Hello, I am Raven from Ruby, the anime.
Do you have a name at all? Sorry.
I do. My actual name is Sophie.
I'm just going to say now, thanks for being interviewed. I know you're probably very busy doing other stuff, so to say thank you. So what made you want to start cosplaying in the beginning?
It's quite an odd one, really. me and a few friends, we used to do a few bits at Halloween, and then all of a sudden we did it one year. We went to Warwick Castle, and I don't know, it just became something that I wanted to do after that. And I started watching Ruby, and I fell in love with a lot of the characters, and it kind of went from there.
It's a good show, though.
It is brilliant.
So is this the only one you've done, or is it got more that you've done?
No, I first started cosplaying Yang, which is hilarious because I'm now her mother. So I've actually got 2 versions of Yang, a volume 2 and a volume 4. And then I bought the sword, I bought that first, and then started making the actual costume from scratch. Took about 6 months, but no, kind of went from there. I think as soon as I saw Raven as the Spring Maiden, I was like, I need to be that.
So you are Raven at the moment. What's been the most cosplay that you've been the most proud of, sort of thing?
I would say this one, to be honest, because my Yang one, I made elements of it, but a lot of it was purchased, whereas this one, a lot of it's made from scratch. So definitely this one.
And what's been your most what's been what's been the most ambitious cosplay you've done? Is it this one you're doing now, sort of thing?
Yeah, I've got plans for a few others. I was going to do a mashup between Yang and Raven.
Okay.
So like with these, but with embers on the bottom.
Okay.
Kind
so
of
just
thing.
say you sound like a. How would you describe it? So. Skull, isn't it? A scale sort of thing on the arm.
Yeah.
That's going to make it. It'll not be a bit weird though. You're cosplaying as Yang and Raven at the same time. It's like that's a little southern sort of joke.
I know. It is a bit odd, but I don't know. It's just. I think Yang as a character, I have the same kind of temper as her, I would say.
Okay, note to self, don't piss her off.
Yeah, my friend is frantically nodding her head behind you right now. But then I just thought Raven was, she's not exactly Mum of the Year or anything, but as a character, she's so complex and quite interesting.
Just to say, for those who haven't watched the anime yet, we're not really spoiling anything really.
No, not at all. No.
Have you had any cosplay disasters, sort of thing?
Many.
Oh, many. Do you have a story, or would you like to elaborate on a story? Or?
I always super glue my fingers together, without fail.
That's happened. We've been to a few cosplayers, and that's happened more times than I have.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the fact that she had to go home last night after she got hit because she forgot her sword, which is
So I arrived here yesterday, got out the car, started walking towards the hotel, and was like, I left my sword at home. So I had to drive all the way back, get my sword, and then come all the way back.
That's her friend who just answered that question there, just to give a reference.
Yeah. So that was quite an epic fail on my part.
So you do only Ruby ones, or do you just do everything? And if so, how do you decide who you're going to do?
To be fair, my first one that I started off, again, this was at Halloween, just to answer my front door to the trick-or-treaters. Yeah. I dressed up as a Wicked Witch, proper greened up and everything. So I do the Wicked Witch comes out at Halloween, and then I have got plans to do Gamora.
Okay.
So, but those are my only ones that I've got in the pipeline at the moment.
Have you seen any of the cosplayers today and you've gone that's really cool? It's
yeah, there's a guy. He's from the Warhammer 40k universe, which my husband's into. And I'm trying to, for the life of me, remember the name of his character. Because I want to go up and say, can I take your picture? Because my husband will absolutely love this. And I'm trying to remember the name of the character. But there's a few, to be fair, that are going around.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. We've taken photos all day, and it's just that's amazing, that's cool. I just want to take photos now. And it's got the bug in me. If a company asked you, can you cosplay this character, what company would it be? And what character would it be?
Hopefully it'll be Rooster Teeth, because I'm already there.
Yeah, you're already there, so I can do this cosplay, I've already done the setup, ready to go, so just pay me now, really.
Yeah, pretty much.
Speaking, we are at Wales Comic Con now, are you thinking of attending any cons in 2020?
2020, so I always come to Wales, every year, both of them without fail. And I generally do MCM Birmingham, but I usually go to the Ruby meets there. So MCM I do more for the people, whereas Wales I do it because I just love coming in.
Yeah,
I think we have the fact that, I come here to buy loads of stuff and interview people, but I do have the convention, but it's just like, it's community.
Yeah, definitely.
Are you, with next year, are you planning to do more Ruby costumes, or are you trying to go in the new route, sort of?
I might go down the new route. I do love doing Ruby, and the amount of money that I've poured into it so far, you definitely want to get your money's worth.
Yeah.
But yeah, I might look at a few other bits. Because sometimes my friends that are with me at the moment aren't cosplaying today, but they do.
Yeah.
And sometimes we like to come as like the same kind of group.
In that same group.
Yeah.
If anyone is listening now, what would you say we invite to cosplaying?
Just do it. Just absolutely do it.
Just do it. Oh.
Yeah, pretty much. It doesn't matter how you feel about yourself. Once you put on that costume, I mean, I went to RTX and I was in Yang, and I literally strutted through a fashion walk, a walkway that they'd had cordoned off.
Yeah.
And I was dressed as Yang, and I was like, I don't care. And I just walked straight through.
You walked in like your own day.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
yeah. I was like, I'm Yang, you can't do nothing to me. So, absolutely, if you want to cosplay, do it. Doesn't matter what hang-ups you have about yourself, just do it, because you'll feel amazing once you're in it.
Okay, it's a little bit of self-promotion time for yourself now.
Okay.
Do you have an Instagram that people could follow you if they want to find out more?
I do. I can't remember what's my Instagram handle?
Oh,
Sorry.
I've kept on the
Sorry.
We're literally running through the phone now to try and...
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's absolutely fine. It's.
I'm not great at social media.
She sucks at it.
That's fine, don't worry about it.
What am I?
Sophie_Yangry_Smith.
Right, we just repeat that again, please.
Sophie_Yangry_Smith.
Okay, cool. That's just for those who are listening and going, oh, I want to, what's interesting, so there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I just want to say thank you very much for taking the time. I know it was kind of spontaneous to just go meet
There's a ruby behind you.
Oh, and there's a ruby behind me. And there is, yes, there is. Another ruby one. They're going to have a fight now, so I'll leave it to it now.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again
Thank
anyway.
you very much.
Enjoy the rest of your convention.
You too, thank you.
So I'm here at Well Comic Con on the Sunday in Telford. And I'm here with one of the developers from Subnautica, if you'd like to say hello.
Hi there, I'm Scott, and I'm an animator and QA lead on Subnautica and Subnautica Below Zero.
Cool. So if somebody hasn't played Subnautica before, which is, I don't know, that's a rarity though, can you explain what it is?
Yeah, so Subnautica is an underwater adventure game where you're dropped on a planet in a sci-fi adventure, and you've got to figure out how to get off the planet, if that is indeed at all possible. And it's filled with mystery and technology and things you can craft and make, and it's really good fun.
I mean, I had a little go yesterday, and my friend, he has a copy of it, and he played it, and he obviously got to show me. It's like, it's really, I was like, oh, this is so cool, I could see it being so yeah. If you get a chance, I recommend go and play this game, it's really good. So, you've got Subnautica in the moment, and using developers, so how long did it take to make Subnautica originally?
So, Subnautica, I think the original prototypes were done around 2013, and then we started production around 2014. And then we released in 2018, so it's at least 4 or 5 years of development to make Subnautica. We were in early access for a very long time, but that helped make the game as good as it was, because working in the open, we opened up almost our entire development process, so people could look on our Trello board and see exactly who was working on what. People could send bug reports from within the game, and so we would get them much faster. We tried to involve the community that was growing around it as much as possible, and we think it made a better game for it. But yeah, we started out wanting to make a small iPad game. This was originally an iPad game, and then it eventually wound up being a big multi-platform, multi-year project, which in the end I think it came out really well. And so we're trying the same thing with Below Zero right now as well.
So is Below Zero DLC, or is it an expansion, or is it...
Well, it's not a DLC, it's a standalone expansion. So it's kind of a sequel, but we're not calling it Subnautica 2. And but it is still a meaty game. and it takes place after the first game, and you return to the planet as a different character. I don't want to give too much away for those who haven't played the first game or anything like that, but it does take place on the same planet, but it's a whole new area of the planet that you've never been to before. So it's set in the Arctic area, so there's all new creatures swimming around. There's one or two of the same ones in there just to keep things familiar, but there's all new creatures, all new monsters, and a new interesting adventure and story is going to be happening. We're starting a new story in the new year. The current version that's out on early access right now is the old version of the story, and we're going to completely redo the story for the new year based on feedback and our own thoughts and things like that.
So if you've got the original game, then is any of the data that you've got from the first one going to be available in the second one, or is it a complete clean slate of it?
It's a completely separate game. So you don't have to play the first game to play Below Zero, but it does help because it'll introduce you to the lore and things like that. But we are consciously making it Below Zero so you don't have to play the first game. We would prefer if you played the first game, but you don't have to. You'll get a lot more of the in-jokes and like little nuggets of information if you have played the first game, though. So I would say if you can play the first game, definitely play it first.
Cool. So I'm going to switch gears now and change the question a bit. Is like, what made you want to become a game developer in the first place?
Well, that's the thing. Before working in games, I was working as an animator on kids' TV, visual effects in London, on some films and things like that. And but I'd been helping out Charlie Cleveland, who's the CEO of Unknownworlds, the co-founder with Max. I've been helping them out with previous games, Natural Selection 1 and 2. This was a volunteer helping out and doing the QA side of the last project, NS2. And then I was working in London at the time on animating fish for a movie. And it just so happened that I was finishing up a contract and they were going to make this underwater game and needed someone to animate fish. So I knew them anyway, so it just kind of happened. A lot of people who I know to get into the games industry, you don't have to start in games, you can start in other industries and come in. It all depends on your skill set as well. So are you an artist, are you a programmer? There's different ways and different methods depending on which skill set you have.
I mean, there's a lot of being so multimedia focused now. There's so many different ways to get it into the game industry now. So it is. You could be a music producer, and then next thing you're making music for Smash, which is going on behind us.
Yeah.
So you've said you've got working on Below Zero now. Make me get right. So what is it? Just working on Below Zero for the next 2020, or are you going to be doing other things as well?
So we're currently working on Below Zero. It's coming out probably 2020. Can't give you an exact date yet because we don't know ourselves. But we do. If you Google Subnautica Below Zero Favreau, if you Google that, you'll get our in development page, and you can actually track us on what we're working on and our current approximations of dates and things like that. So you can just take a look at that and see where we are. We are working on other projects, but nothing to announce yet.
You can't say anything here now.
Can't really say anything.
Damn it, I was so close.
Except we're excited for the future, and we are hiring. So also take a look at unknownworlds.com/jobs. So we're currently hiring for programmers and things. So keep an eye on that.
So yeah, if you're looking to work in the industry, you've got there's a place going at the moment. Yeah, if you said you're game developer now, so what would one piece of advice be that you would, someone's looking into getting into, what advice would you have?
I would say work very hard, but keep the faith. If you really want to get into games or any artistic expression industry, I would say you have to put in the work, and probably more than you expect. But if you want it, it's there. You just have to go for it. But right now is actually a bit of a golden age for game development, for animation, for all the creative industries. especially because the UK has got tax incentives for companies and things like that. So there's a lot of jobs going all around the industry right now. But if you want to get in, you have to have a really good portfolio. You have to, if you're a programmer, you may be asked to do a test, like a programming test. Because for us, we do programming tests. We sometimes do art tests, depending on the person's show reel or their portfolio. So you need to work on your portfolio. One piece of advice I would give artists specifically, because I'm from that side of things, is that you may want to tailor your application to the studio. So, for instance, if you are wanting to apply to the guys who make Halo, you should do Halo-style stuff, because that's what they're making. If you make so if you want to apply as an animator for Subnautica, you would animate fish or stuff like that, or do something like that. You wouldn't do some fan art from some anime and then apply using that to a studio that's not doing anime games or anime work or anything like that. So you do need to tailor your portfolio, whether that's coding, whether that's art or anything, to the studio. But if you really want it, go for it and don't stop, because the people who don't make it are the people who give up.
Yeah, sound advice for life, isn't it? Really, just keep going at it. I think that's probably it. Yeah, I think that's really it. I mean, thank you very much for taking the time. I know you're probably busy showing off Subnautica here at Wales Comic Con, so yeah, thank you for the time, and hope to see you around about. Thank you very much. Okay, I just want to say thank you very much to the people over at Stainless Games, Unknownworlds, and of course Sophie Yang for taking the time to be interviewed. I know you guys were very busy that weekend, so I just want to say thank you very much. So, with that done, I'm just going to switch gears a bit, and we're going to talk about the news. So, let's switch over to the news. Okay, in movie news, we're just going to go through some of the stuff that's been happening. The project for Death Note 2 has been greenlighted. We are talking about the Netflix version. The director, I think it was, said that he would stick more to the source material, so I guess that's a good thing in a sense. I mean, the original wasn't so close to the source material. It could have been better, personally speaking. But if he's listened to the fans, I guess it's a good thing. You can't go wrong with that. So maybe we'll have to wait and see. Todd Phillips, the director of Joker, has stated that he wants to do more darker DC films. Now, I don't know if he means he wants to do another Joker film. That's still up in the air. I don't think he personally should. Maybe he could do a darker sort of Batman origin story. If they're going on the vibe that they made from the Joker, that would be pretty cool to see. Maybe a darker superhero film, so maybe like when he does go the full evil sort of thing, that would be pretty cool to see. That'd be a pretty cool film, actually. So yeah, those are the kind of the possibilities, but he's not said anything. He said he's interested, and we could see what is going on. Also, as well, is Jurassic Park 3 has begun shooting in Canada. So Jurassic World 3 is happening, supposedly. So yeah, that's coming up soon. So that'll be pretty cool to see how that is received. And of course, I think they're making a live-action version of The Promised Neverland, the anime. So that's something to look forward to. So next on the list is video game news. Okay. The first on the video games list is the game Gwent, which was the spin-off you kind of thing to the Witcher series. That was a card game that you could play for like a Hearthstone type thing. But unfortunately, I think because of many reasons, they've decided to shut down the game for PS4 and Xbox One. Now, I don't know if this is because they've got the PlayStation 5 coming out. Could be, or whatever, that new Xbox. Or just because it wasn't getting as many people as it would have liked. But anyway, if you are playing those games, to give you a heads up that it will be shutting down soon. No date on when it actually will, but they have said that it is going to be shutting down. The Atari VCS XES, which was supposed to be a kind of throwback retro console, which was kickstarted, has been delayed again. This was delayed back in September, I think, of this year, and then they decided to recently delay it again until March of 2020, stating, I believe they wanted to improve it. So it's kind of annoyance. I mean, like, if you back that console to think like you're gonna get it, you're gonna have to wait again, and that's like not cool in my books. Unless they have like a legit reason to say, okay, this is the reason we postponed it because we want to add X amount of features or whatever. Alright, but you should have planned that sooner, really, in the production cycle. So speaking of retro games, we're going to keep them for a bit. The NES and the NES now have Punch-Out and Star Fox 2. If you've not known what they are, those are the online sort of Game Pass things where you have Nintendo Online, you can download them for free, and then you can play them for as long as you want, sort of thing. For like a free game per month. That is a selection of smaller. That is two of a few that are released at the moment. You go and search the actual shop and find out what the rest of them are. I believe one of them is a Kirby game. I think. Anyway. Also, as well as keeping with video game news, the Video Game Awards happened just last night. I will have a full article of the winners and losers, and if you've already read the article before that, which is my predictions, we can see if they all lined up or not. I think some of them did. Anyway. But yeah, it's... The big news is that Senko You Must Die Twice, I think, was won Best Game of the Year, which is a real surprise, and I didn't think that would actually happen, so props to those guys, well done. Speaking with anime news, we have a release date for Re:Zero, which is April of 2020. We've also been told as well that the live-action Akira film, I know this should be in the movie section, but the live-action Akira film has been put on postpone because the guy who is making it is doing 4 Thor, so they've put that on the back foot for a moment. Okay, it was literally, we are keeping with the rolling with this anime news. It's just been announced that Dr. Stone Season 2 is coming out. They haven't announced a release date yet, they just said it is coming. They put out a little minute or so clip just to say, yep, it's cool, it's coming, and that's it. That's all we know, but then we'll keep you up to date with all the stuff that's been going on, so you can just follow us on social media to keep up to date. Speaking and switching gears over to convention news, Wales Comic Con again have announced that they are moving back to Telford in April the 23rd and the 24th. I will give you my review of what I think of that in a moment. But just to give you a heads up, yeah, it's going over there. It's going to be back in Telford in April, and so yeah. So without further ado, I'm going to actually give you the review for Wales Comic Con. If you want to see the written version with all the lovely pictures, links as always to the description, so you guys can check out the full site as well. So my review of it is, it's better. It's a lot better than what it was last time. The venue's gotten a lot bigger, which is always a good thing. With that said, it has its issue it needs to be sorted out in regards to the biggest stars there, which we all know are David Tennant and Matt Smith. With the virtual queuing thing, I didn't quite get that, so that's something to be interested in. Yeah, the whole idea of it being in Telford, great idea. It's close to everything. It's really like a stone's throw, and you could go somewhere like, say, a Cineworld or a pizzeria or a Pizza Express. Really close, and the hotels were literally, again, a stone's throw away. So it's just definitely an improvement, and it was absolutely needed. With regards to photos, again, it was an improvement. Instead of having, I think it was just 2 in, say, Glyndor, you've now got 4, and there's a separate room for them to be, for them to have pickups as well. So you can literally roll out of one room and pick your cars up in another room, which is across the way from where you are, instead of being cramped into basically one big room. So yeah, video games. The video game section was just there. There was the gaming bus, which had the shock rods on, and then they had, obviously, you had Subnautica people there showing off. There was loads of Smash Brothers that were going on, and of course some Just Dance. There was tons of stuff for the raffle, which was in good cause of special effects. So shout out to those guys, they are really good, and I hope I wish them all best. Yeah, really, the panels. I did not attend any particular panels per se. That's the only thing that kind of put me off. It was very normal, if that's weird. It's a weird way of saying it, because it was very Doctor Who, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, DC. The one that I wanted to go to, but I couldn't, I don't know why, was the whole cast of the animated X-Men film, which I really wanted to go to, but I didn't in the end. The Cosplay Masquerade was shorter, a little shorter than I originally thought. I thought it would last longer, but I don't know if that was because of the lack of people who entered, or just whatever reason, it just felt a lot shorter, which was really good actually. It didn't feel too long, and the right persons won, because in my personal opinion, I think the right people did win in the end. It was just the right sort of thing. Signing areas, I explained that briefly. It could be improved in regards to the bigger stars. I did get, I wouldn't say squashed, but I did get a bit blocked off from going where I wanted to go by this queue that was going on for David Tennant and Matt Smith. That's not their fault, that's just, I think the organisers didn't predict how it could have done better. They could have done a little bit better, but that's just me. The staff there were amazing. I mean, I had a few instances where I was asking questions and they knew where to go. They even had one member of staff, I don't remember the person's name, but I wanted to go get some help, and they literally just directed me, or they not directed me, they actually took me to the help desk. Super cool, so really cool. Cosplayers, my god, there was loads there. There was all sorts. There was JoJo, there was Goblin Slayers, Demon Slayers, there was Overlord, there was Superman, Batman, Game of Thrones, zombies, Star Wars, bloody hell. Zelda was even making an appearance in there. Santa even made a hell of an appearance. Charlie Chaplin I saw rolling around, which was kind of cool. So yeah, there was loads of cosplayers. Every one of them was amazing, and it was good to see that still happening. And of course, the Ruby characters, of course. But overall, an impression, vast improvements. Definitely was needed to move to a bigger venue. There's a lot more space now to play with, if they wish to play with it. But I think the layout that they had there with traders in the centre, all the stalls, was really good. The gaming area was right slap bang in the centre. And yeah, it was really good. Shout out and definitely props goes to the organisers. You guys did a great job. Definitely come back next year if possible. We'll see. But yeah, a vast improvement, and keep up the good work. So if you guys made it all the way to the end of this episode, I just want to say thank you very much. You guys are amazing with sticking around through all this. If you want to support the show, we do have a Ko-fi page you guys can check out. Links, as always, are in the description, as well as most stuff I've talked about, include the Instagrams and the web pages and the Facebooks to everyone that gets featured. If you do donate to the Ko-fi page, then you will get a shout out on the show, as everybody does in this show. Just to give you a heads up as well, we will have a sort of end of year-ish chat with two of the writers from Mag Podcast. We're going to be just spitballing that. It's very incausal. We'll see what happens. But the next full proper episode will be on January the 15th of 2020. The spitballing episode, which will be like just a casual thing, come out on the 30th, so you will get one in 2 weeks, but it won't be a proper episode. It will just be a recap of the year, shall we say. So yeah, if you want to listen to that one comes out on the 30th of December, and if you want to watch or listen to the next episode properly, it will be on January the 15th. So I just want to say a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all the listeners. You've been great. Hope to see you guys next year. And just keep being awesome. Alright, bye.